cool. So I think we should start with the second segment, in that is dumb, stupid Hollywood movies and superhero summer blockbusters.
Yes, I have heard the second segment is always good to follow after the first segment. So let's do that.
Okay. Do you want to start with the Marvel films, or do you want to do some of the other blockbusters?
Oh, fuck no. Yeah, let's just get the Marvel films out of the way.
Okay.
I'll say now that if anyone thinks I'm biased, I am slightly, because I'm a little bit
jaded
done.
With superheroes.
Even like us two, maybe 5 years ago, I'd have not recognised these own words coming out of my mouth. But I'm just done with superhero movies. I still want them around. I don't want them to diminish because people will enjoy them. Yeah. But I'm just like having to watch them almost, which is kind of. And I do enjoy them. As I go through these films, I probably will probably say that I enjoy almost all of them. So yeah, it's just I just want to, prior to this, say, just please stop.
I mean, that's the thing is, I keep seeing superhero films that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting towards it. Oh, okay, and I was waiting for Avengers to be finished, and then it's like, okay, I'm done. I've finished my big arc. Great. But then, you get the small little films like Shazam, I will talk about later. I actually really enjoyed. It's really refreshing. But then, I don't know, like, I'm sure there will be films in the superhero genre that I'll be like, this is great. Really happy that this came out. But yeah, I would have no interest in any of the upcoming Marvel films. I never liked any of the DC films, really. And goodness me, I cannot care less for any of the films coming up. But yeah, I think let's just dive into the earliest Marvel film this year, Captain Marvel. What did you think of fuck?
As a movie, if it had come out 20 movies before in the MCU canon, it would have been a pretty good film.
Sure.
Such as this formula that Marvel are using for pretty much all their films, which has now been overused.
Yes.
And so to the pretty high standard they've held with some of their like actually exceptional films.
Yes.
This was just.
Yeah, that's my exact sentiments. It's. I see my opinion on this film and this character in that it's the black mark on the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole, as I think they've done a pretty good job in general of all of the films, even the films I don't care about that much.
I think it's the first one, if that's what you're saying. I think there's, I could name. I didn't really like Iron Man 3, Thor 2.
I think Iron Man 2
was...
Iron Man 2 and Thor 1 are probably lesser films than this.
Yeah.
But
and also, they came out where I could enjoy them more. This came out at a time where
I was done.
The standard, even from now on, especially now that like Avengers have kind of finished their arc.
Yeah.
This kind of line that they have to get above now.
How could they top Thanos? Really,
it's almost going to be impossible. And I think, not to talk too much about the future because we are talking about this year of film or last year of film. I think maybe superhero films will dwindle out as the kind of juggernaut of the summer blockbuster, and I think it might be replaced by something in the next maybe 5 years, but we'll see. I'm sure Marvel will have a secret plan to kind of brainwash fucking.
Yeah, I predict that too. If I'm honest, I think we've had our 11-year-long love story with this genre, and they pulled it off, in my opinion, to a satisfying degree. But their upcoming slate is nothing too interesting. But And this film came about, and I was like, okay, I'm just ready for Endgame now. I'm ready for it. I'm done.
I think the most annoying thing about this film was that it had, like you say, it was a bit of a black mark on the thing because it didn't really add anything.
It didn't add anything. In fact, it created problems, in my opinion, in that she is too fucking powerful.
Yeah.
And she's not an interesting enough character that now there's this problem through every single film in that why not just get the fucking literal god to... Like in Endgame, they had to be like, what do we fucking do about like Miss Marvel or fucking Captain Marvel or whatever? And the Russo brothers were like, fucking write her out of film. We don't fuck that. Get her away.
Yeah. I like how they handled it in the movie in the sense that she has kind of like a nullifier to her powers.
Yes.
And therefore she is limited. And it was for the first maybe 5 seconds when she got her full powers. Pretty cool to see. Oh my god, someone that is almighty and fucking wow, hot
like
damn.
Super Saiyan. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. I really like this.
Yeah, and then any stakes from there on were just really stupid, and I didn't give a shit. Well, and it was the same for when she entered into the Endgame universe as well. So
but I mean, to be fair, there are like bits that are quite good about this film, and then there are bits that I think are like really bizarre choices directorially. Like, this is done by the two people who did The Hurt Locker, the husband and wife combo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I wasn't the biggest fan of that film, but you know, it has its fans. Obviously, is like an Oscar nominee, but the whole obviously women empowerment, blah blah blah. That's fine. Young Sam Jackson as a buddy cop movie where they're trying to find aliens that are shape shifting. Was actually really fun and interesting, and then they had a great twist on that.
They
great, entertaining stuff. Ben Mendelsohn, wonderful, wonderful.
They twisted the whole shapeshift to Earth genre basically on its head with where the film goes. I mean, we've given away spoilers for the whole film, so I might as well just say it. But the fact that they are the good guys, and the white, the white people
bad,
people bad, because you just go into it thinking, oh, these green fuckers, they must be the bad guys.
Yeah, they're shape shifting and assimilating.
I was like, that's very, very good. And Sam Jackson and Coulson are pretty good. I don't think the de-aging was amazing, so I was a bit like.
But lots of bits in it that were quite like entertaining and fun to watch. But the two main problems that I think you have as well, one is that they set up her backstory and show you her like memories of like her powers and what happened to her, whilst then immediately going back to her who has no memories. And then having to watch her discover her own memories, if you know what I mean. Like, as the audience, we know what happened, but we have to go through the slog of her finding out where we don't learn anything new.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you could just start from the point where she doesn't know her memories.
Yeah, because that's I mean, just a really good trope. Keeps you interested.
Yeah. It's
a mystery. How does she get like this? I agree that it did take away a lot of mystery, and she's, in my opinion, not a fantastic character to follow around, as she kind of confusingly looks around things and goes, who are you? What am I?
Yes. But then also acts with the weird charisma and like confidence of someone who has been to Earth before when she... I don't know. That's the thing that annoyed me, is her character was so inconsistent and not very likable. Sometimes she's coy, doesn't know what she's doing. Other times she's a powerful, badass woman. Other times she's just a bitch. Like when Sam Jackson does that really clever thing with the sticky tape on the fingerprint and opens the door, and then she just fucking knocks the door open with her hands. Is like, I could do this anyway. It's like, fucking, that's not very nice. Like, thanks, hero.
Yeah, I think, admittedly, I will agree to that. Her character's not amazing, but I'll also say that like Marvel films have just created the same hero in a sense. Like,
just Iron Man and Doctor Strange and
you just expect this quippy guy, and if someone's not like, well, I remember first when I saw any kind of character in the Marvel universe which didn't kind of say something sarcastic for 5 minutes, I'd be like, no, boo, boo.
I know what you mean.
But I do agree that she is pretty meh. But it's like, take nothing away from the fact that this should have happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just basically a female superhero being, the fact that it wasn't Black Widow for fucking 8, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Black Widow film now is coming out this year or in the following year.
Fuck cares?
Spoiler
alert, she doesn't die.
Yeah, if it is a prequel.
It's a prequel. It has to be.
Yeah, so it's just weirdly, like, I've found that Marvel throughout their 11th year, every time I personally, and I think the wider audience, just was starting to get tired of something, they switched it up really well. They added, after Avengers 2, they just started going a bit wackier and getting some really cool directors in, and kind of re-engaging my kind of interest. And also, but even before that, I was like, oh, okay, all these superhero films have got kind of, they're very, very similar. And then they just did Guardians out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my god, it really captured my interest again. This
Thor
was the only one in this.
Bring in Taika Waititi. Great.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is the only film of the entire 23, I think it is, where I was like, this is too late. This should have happened, way, way sooner.
I personally think it should have happened 5 years in the future. I think if they wanted to really continue on with this gravy train, it should have been, the next couple of films should have been Fantastic Four, X-Men, Blade, Captain Marvel, just all different superheroes, different stories, try something weird, and a horror Doctor Strange movie, if that's,
Yeah, that could be cool. I think other than Doctor Strange, who I'm a big fan of, they've effectively, they're trying to continue on, it seems like, with their lesser popular characters, which is, if I would, to build hype again, I would just be like, introduce loads of new stuff and then feed in this, because the characters they continue on with, they're side characters. They were always side characters to the main guys.
I couldn't give a fuck about Black Widow. Black Panther 2 will be, I don't care. Captain Marvel 2, don't care. As Guardians of the Galaxy will be fun, but
Blade, I think, could be cool. But then
the Eternals, that could be weird, but equally, I'm kind of really done now. Like, I have no attachment to this universe because the story.
The only kind of superhero or that kind of comic book hero thing that I'm even looking forward to now is the Batman, because because basically Robert Pattinson, and who's up there with Adam Driver for me as male leading stars at the moment, or at least the kind of
and it's got
the most after character, the actors, most sought after characters, actors.
And I think it's also got like an interesting director attached to it. It's got Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as like Penguin. I'm like, okay, I'm interested in that. Yeah, I like Batman.
Everyone that's been in it has, even in recent times, had some absolute fantastic films under their belt. So it's without even doing or saying anything, it's building hype for me at least. So
I'm looking forward to standalone films not connected to any universe that have a finite ending.
Yeah.
In some ways. Obviously, like Batman, whatever, but like is gonna not be, he's not gonna die or whatever, but I'm out. I've had my arc with Avengers Endgame. I don't care. I don't care anymore.
I agree. Should we just
I think we should talk about some of the other films, because I think Avengers and Spider-Man might be good to talk about together.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not sure how many of these you've watched. So you said you haven't watched Toy Story 4, so I can talk about that quickly. It's unnecessary entirely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Essentially, it's almost like it felt like a direct-to-DVD plot. Like, what if a toy gets lost again? And then they did like an interesting thing with anything that a child puts enough love and craft into to make it as like a plaything becomes a toy.
Okay.
But also with this, like you made a plastic fork into a toy. But
yes,
then it also has like a life of its own that it wants to become trash, which is funny, but they didn't explore that enough for me. Like,
yeah, I think there personally would be dangerous to go down that route. I think personally, like kind of what creates the soul of a toy.
I agree.
Like
skirt around
think
it, but don't be explicit.
Yeah,
don't talk about the midichlorians.
Yeah, exactly.
I do agree. But what else? It's almost like character development for the like the toys themselves, but in. It's fine. Like, some of the stuff was fine, but...
Is it the 4th best Toy Story film?
It's the 4th worst Toy Story film. It's the worst Toy Story film, by a long shot.
Okay.
Let's put it this way. There are scenes with Key and Peele in it.
Yes.
And it's like they wrote those scenes that they're in, because those scenes are by far and wide the best scenes in that movie by 500%. I laughed out loud, convulsive laughter, had to pause the movie and rewatch the scene again and convulsed with laughter because of how excellently wrote and shot and done those scenes were.
It's definitely a film of the list from this year that I haven't watched that I definitely will, because I assume, like the Marvel films, it's not bad. It's enjoyable. And if you stick it on, you're not going to fucking scrape your eyes out.
It's fine. Like, just I'm never going to watch it again. I don't remember too much about it, but I laughed at the Key and Peele scenes, and it won the Oscar. So I'm assuming that's going to be annoying if I watch Klaus or something. But
yeah, I think animation can also be about the animation as well, which I'm assuming was very good.
Pixar looked nice,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll talk about the other 2 animated films that I saw, which was How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Oh, yep, I've seen that as well.
Have you? Oh,
yeah.
You can talk more about it than I did, because I remember being like, that's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I can't really add much to that. I went into it thinking, because in my opinion, there's not many perfect trilogies, and I'd happily say that the first 2 films are fantastic, and I love them so much.
9 out of 10.
Kind of went in, definitely 9 out of 10, and I kind of went into this thinking, just please get somewhere near it and don't do a kind of Godfather trilogy, because it would be very funny to answer, what's your favorite trilogy, and not say Lord of the Rings and be able to say How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Or and the same thing happened with Kung Fu. Maybe it's just the 3rd DreamWorks film, because Shrek 1 and 2 are fantastic, and the 3rd one is awful. Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2 are very enjoyable, and
3 was fine. It was like fine.
3, it was fine, and I think that's the same with this. It was kind of fine.
Yeah,
it ended the story, but in my opinion, just didn't.
It didn't reach the highs.
No, it didn't. It was just all right. I didn't get any really emotion out of it. The comedy was, I guess, pretty good.
Yeah, it was sort of a love story, really. That was about the main character marrying that girl, and then it was also about the dragons being in love as well. But they, I wish they made more of an attempt for the romance to be the center plot, if you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, I think so too. And I think I remember seeing like only one trailer or even like posters, and there was just the white dragon, and I was like, well, that's obviously
the girl dragon,
because the girl dragon,
put a fucking ribbon on her fucking hair.
Yeah, and it's just, I think the mystery in the film at the start was, who's there? It just kind of just chucked you in there, and I think maybe there should have been more, like, because I remember in the second film they explored the fact that there was loads and loads of dragons, and they kind of hinted at, I haven't seen another one of these Night Riders. They're called Night Riders, like Night Gliders,
Night Wings, Night whatever. I don't know. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
No, Night Riders are a TV show from the 80s.
I wish it was Hasselhoff fucking driving through the sky on a dragon.
And then I just was a bit underwhelmed by the introduction of that character, and there was some good comedy where, Toothless is a very funny, silent character, and his nervousness around girls.
That was the best part of the film.
Yeah, but after that, it kind of just became. I don't even remember the bag person. Who was
some bounty hunter who was like tall and thin, and reminded me of like the food critic from Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, I think after
they had like poisoned scorpion dragons or something.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it just felt very much like, this is a very similar. I think it was even like the same arc as the second one, where it's like, guy hates dragons, guy wants to control dragons. Like almost identical. So
yeah, because the whole point of it was they found this dragon kingdom and they wanted to, because they had an overpopulation of dragons, but like there wasn't enough for me, of that the magic and the like easy writing and the character development. Like
it felt very much like
put the characters together a bit more, have a little bit more actual drama and tension.
Like they wrote this one in half the time, kind of thing.
It looks like it.
But, I don't want to...
Stick it on, your kids will enjoy it. I didn't not like it. It was like a 6 out of 10. Oh, it was fine. I enjoyed it. I wasn't bored. Yeah. Yeah,
and a sufficient enough ending to what is a 3 quite good films.
Sure. Yeah, you could say that. It wraps it up nice enough. You could do another film. You could leave it. It's like... It is right where it needs to be. So, I can't complain. And finally, I'll talk about the last animated film I saw this year, which I saw quite recently, and it may be my contender for worst film this year. It's Frozen 2.
Oh, wow.
I know, right? Now, I was a very vocal critic of the first Frozen, in that I think it's a glorified music video.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Lucky you. Let It Go, right?
I'm vaguely familiar with it.
Yeah, that's the film. So in this film, it's like, okay, you actually have the characters sort of interacting in this, and it just has every 5 minutes a song, but the songs don't really advance the plot too much. You realise in this film that Elsa is a fucking idiot. It's the princess with the ice powers. The whole point of the first film was you don't have to love a guy. It's all about loving your sisters or your family or whatever. Fine.
Quite anti-Disney.
Fine, I like that. But the problem is they didn't establish these characters as likable or had any much of a... The plot was... There's no plot. In this, they go to this like magical enchanted forest or something. For some reason... Because Elsa's magic powers literally can do anything, like the Force in Star Wars. Like, she just shoots out ice from her hands, and it becomes like a beacon that like activates other magical powers elsewhere, and nonsense. She can do everything, but then also she can't do everything when she clearly needs to do it. Like, Olaf the fucking snowman is still in it. For no reason, he has no purpose, he has no character, just to be there being fucking annoying. And to make the kids, funny snowman, funny. Sure. God, I can't remember any of the songs, any of the points in the film, but I do remember this one 10-minute stretch where the sisters are angry at each other because the ginger sister is like, hey, look, don't do this all by your own, because you tried to do this last film, and it fucking nearly killed you. Can you not do this and take me with you? And this woman's like, no, I didn't learn anything from the first film. Fuck you. You need to be safe at home. So she then freezes the ground beneath her and puts her in like a frozen boat to like send her away. Like, you can't chase after me. I'm stopping you from chasing after me. Don't chase. I'm going to protect you. In that, when she said she's protecting her, she shoots her off at 100 miles an hour through a forest, slips sliding through everywhere. She smashes into some trees, goes into a lake where she goes straight into head first into danger. And I laughed my head off at that because it's immediate. Like, they didn't think about it.
Who did you watch this with?
Christy, who loved it, obviously. Straight after that, Elsa goes into this place where she's meant to find out something about her past. Then, we need tension to happen, so let's just freeze her. She's dead. And it's like, oh, this came out of nowhere. There's no indication that this place is dangerous in any way, shape, or form. I guess she's just dead now. Then, for no reason, because of that, they kill off Olaf for no reason, and everybody cries and sad. Oh, very sad.
That's Olaf, about the snowman.
Yeah, but then also it's fine. Don't worry about it because they do the same thing to bring her back again, like they did in the first film, for the most obvious reason. And then everybody's fine and happy. And it's like, well, what's the point? Why'd you do that? Why'd you kill these characters off when you know you're going to bring them back?
So, just to clarify, you didn't like it. Cool.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't care about this film at all, and I didn't want to care about it. But
is it worse than the first?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Because the first one at least had like an interesting message and quite a good soundtrack, begrudgingly.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. I mean, Tangled is so wonderful compared to it, and that's what makes me annoyed at that.
What is it? Is there one other film in that kind of
Wreck-It Ralph?
Studio? Yeah, I thought there might have been another one. Is Moana?
Oh, Moana, yeah, which is all right and has a big Mad Max reference in it.
Oh, I haven't seen Moana, so
it's fine. But I mean, I just don't understand how this is like mega seller popular. I just don't get it. Yeah, crap.
It's for kids, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I should get myself worked up about a film that's literally designed for little girls.
I don't understand how the toys can talk. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a film you would like to talk about now? About the summer blockbusters? Because I've got like some other films that I'll talk about, but not too much.
Let me just go to my list. Summer blockbusters. Should we go into Endgame and then Spider-Man? At least do it chronologically, and then finish on.
And then I'll talk about Godzilla, Shazam, Detective Pikachu, and John Wick 3. And Aladdin, obviously.
What about when are we doing Star Wars? Is that
Star
another
Wars
section?
will be at the end.
Okay, cool. Because get into that one. Avengers, just absolutely stupid, but it's allowed to be.
Yes, that's the best review I've ever heard of that film.
Yeah, completely over the top. They knew they could pretty much get away with anything. I think if someone had showed me that film and I'd watched only 5 of the Marvel films and someone then tried to fill me in on, like, you know, just so I could at least understand Avengers Endgame, and then I watched Avengers Endgame, I'd have fucking hated it. But all in all, I think I had the biggest grin on my face throughout the whole of it. So
I did too.
And that's what should really be comic book movies and summer blockbusters should be about. So
yeah. Infinity War was really good, and it established Thanos well. I liked it quite a lot.
I thought the pacing was awful.
Sure. But I feel like it relied quite heavily on the fact that the characters have already been established in previous movies, so you don't need to spend the time establishing the characters.
Yeah.
But which is, I mean, it's done 20 movies. It deserves to, just go balls to the wall and have it was all fan moments, really. Yeah, and it's a big time travel heist movie, which is quite interesting.
Yeah,
I thought that some of the character resolutions were actually quite nicely done because of that as well.
Yep. I that they kind of just changed everyone's expectations of the film, in which everyone thought, it's going to be a big fucking battle with Thanos, which it was in the end, but they just killed him straight up.
They subverted it straight away, and then they had everyone be miserable for 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe laugh.
I mean, if I wanted to pick at it like I did with Infinity War after I finished Infinity War, I could. just go like, there's probably many parts of the film that I hate, but
once you introduce time travel, it's like, okay, you need to plan that better.
But like I said, it was okay to be. And I think that's the reason I liked it and not Infinity War, because Infinity War wasn't the end. Obviously, yes. Even though they fucking died, it was just like it was the end,
and it literally ends the story.
But this ends the story, and I'm like, fuck it, fine, and do what you like, fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Infinity War was just as kind of like ridiculous, but it was still like, oh, more to come, great.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think if Infinity War didn't have the promise of another film, it'd be a very bold, move. But
yeah. I think the thing I like about Infinity War, not to talk about it too much over Endgame, is that they just kind of, in my opinion, ruined because everyone just died at once, other than 1 or 2 characters, and it just kind of felt like overkilling death, if that makes sense. Sure. Because the whole of the Marvel universe has just dealt with killing characters off awfully, like as in it doesn't do it, or it brings them back, and it just gives a character's death absolutely no meaning when it happens.
Yeah. So Loki gets killed, and then you're sort of like, is he dead? Yes,
because he's quite a mischievous character.
But he is dead in the film, but you don't really.
Someone die halfway through.
Gamora. And
Gamora, yeah.
Gamora.
And that was the one that's quite sad.
Spoilers: Scarlett Johansson.
Yes. And then everyone died at the same time, so I was like, okay, well, they're not dead. So. Throughout the, and if I think about all 23 films, I can't think of more than 3 or 4 times where I was like, oh, that character's died and I'm really sad because he's not coming back, which should not happen.
No,
I know it's kids films, they're family films, but yeah.
If death isn't permanent,
but Endgame,
then
yeah, because this was the end, I liked it because characters could die. We knew that some of the characters were going to die. It was the end of their kind of contracts.
Yes.
The characters that had to go, even when I expected them to go, I still enjoyed their swan song.
Yes. Well, I mean, I enjoyed the Captain Americas fought with each other. That was nice. They referenced a lot of the older movies as they sort of wrap up for the film. I liked that they sort of celebrated the MCU as well.
It didn't feel kind of self-indulgent or kind of up its own arse. It very much was like like a victory walk.
It was a victory lap. That's entirely what the film was. And it had like even characters like Natalie Portman and like Thor's mum. These sort of really minor characters like Thor, Captain America and Iron Man all had their character resolutions quite nicely done on screen. Hawkeye and Scarlett Johansson, Hawkeye and Black Widow did as well. Even though because of what you'd seen in Infinity War, it did neuter the fact that, I know exactly what's happening here. Although I think because I liked the characters and they had enough movie and development behind them, I was still a bit like, oh, that's sad. And the ending, I did cry at because it's the complete culmination of everything.
Yes, yeah.
The big portal scene, the bits with Captain America and the hammer and everything, great. They deserve it. It's the blowout. There you go. And then obviously you have the main death, and then how they handled Captain America's ending. I really thought that was really nice and a nice touch.
Yeah, me too. Great way to end it.
Yes, I agree. They pulled it off, the crazy bastards. The whole experiment of the shared universe, they did it. Congratulations. It will go down in history as one of the most interesting years.
And whoever was the guy that kind of really, or guy or girl or team that kind of pushed for this kind of shared universe, when it had been tried before in other kind of movie franchises and never really worked. Obviously deserves a pat on the back because
Godzilla, King Kong and all that had done it before, and
the kind of Universal monsters kind of did it in the 30s weirdly.
But they pulled it off. They had a plan. They built up slowly, and they really captured the hearts of people. Like, good for them. And then you go to Spider-Man straight away afterwards.
And I shouldn't have liked this film because I was done.
Yes.
But they had
it may be
luck
tainted
on their
a little
side
bit because you love Spider-Man, though.
Yes, this is what I'm going to say. I think they had luck on their side because, one, it might be the most likable comic book character there is.
Yes,
in Spider-Man, at least one of them. Two, it was almost like El Camino villain is. Oh yes. Well, let's get into that in just a little bit. But it also was kind of a way to wrap up the other parts of it, or at least tie it to something new. Even though we've both expressed that I don't want anything new, and I want the kind of thing to end. It was a nice way to kind of show that how everyone's dealing with the MCU. It showed that there is still some interest, both for the audience and for the audience at least. And like you said, it has the villain I have been basically petitioning for since maybe the Spider-Man 2 PS2 game.
You've been standing outside of Marvel HQ for the last 5 years with
two pictures, a fucking giant fishbowl, and then Jake Gyllenhaal's fucking face, and being like, do this fucking movie. And I fucking loved it.
Yeah, I've watched it twice. So I didn't like it as much the second time, but
I can imagine that.
But
I think it was on the coattails of Avengers, and it's also it's a funny comedy.
It's a romance film.
It's a teen romance coming of age comedy, and
I
those
really like
aren't.
That, but
those aren't historically rewatchable 500 times kind of thing.
No. I really think the opening 10 minutes of the film is some of the most hilarious stuff you'll ever watch.
What is the first 10 minutes? Because I've only watched it once. I can't remember.
The fake video tribute to Iron Man's death, and then just them talking about the blip and how everybody came back from Thanos' finger snap. I think that's so really, really funny. I laughed so much at that.
Because they just kind of tapped into all the memes that had come about.
Oh, absolutely.
Endgame, what if this guy was with a woman and then the woman died and then he's now with someone else? All these kind of scenarios.
What if he was in a plane as he got fucking snapped? That was great. What if Ant-Man was up his arse? They're all dealt with. No, he wasn't. Yeah. But and I like Spider-Man himself, and I think I like his universe and his friends. I like that it was a chilled, relaxed story.
I also liked that, even though for me, and maybe not even the big Spider-Man fan, they knew that Mysterio had to kind of be the bad guy.
Yes.
The reveal was still something I was like, excellent, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, I kind of saw that coming. Because when you see a twist coming, at least, it can sometimes diminish it, but I was just like, cool.
It was coming really along, but they still did it well. So, I agree. I think, especially when they were layering in the multiverse stuff and I was like, oh, that's interesting. The Elementals enemies, those fights were sort of that's where I glazed over. I didn't care that much. It was more about the comedy and the cute interactions of characters for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is really
I think it's kind of what always Spider-Man has been about, whereas just his kind of inner stress of kind of dealing with being a kid and then also having to throw his life away to be a superhero, at times.
And that's the major strength of the film.
That really well. Yeah, and this did it as well.
Yeah.
I also
do agree.
Fucking love Joe Jameson came back.
Okay, I'll get to that in a second. I was just because that's the thing that really works, is that I like all the characters, I like the world, I like how they deal with it and everything. That's the strongest stuff in the movie. It always is and always has been. Mysterio was great. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think the mind-bending sequences were really great. I wish there was more of them. But what really worked is just the continuation of how they're interacting and developing as characters and dealing with it. And I think the end credit scene is the best in all of the whole MCU for a film that came after the ending of the MCU, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that's mainly because I like Spider-Man, and I'm interested in where Spider-Man's story goes, but nobody else.
I think...
God, J. Jonah Jameson, how amazing was that?
It's. I think we can all admit there's been a fair few Spider-Man films, maybe too many in the last 20 years.
Yes.
And you will have to do a fresh take. And I think these two films, they didn't do a fucking origin story, which was smart. Mm-hmm. They kind of just chucked him in with MJ at a young age. They did slightly different things to having 36-year-old. I was actually trying to exaggerate Andrew Garfield's age then, but I think he is actually 36 in the second film. Yeah.
Okay.
They kind of just stayed true to the comic, but also changed a few things. And then this twist at the end, I was like, oh, I'm actually really intrigued to see where that goes, because that hasn't been done in the other 17 Spider-Man films they've done so far. So,
I agree.
But other than that, not really hyped for any Marvel films. And now also they might be linking it to Venom and this Morbius, and oh my Christ, it's going to be like, I just think it's going to be awful.
I don't care.
Morbius looks bad.
Yeah, it does look bad, doesn't it?
It's bad. Venom 2 will probably be bad.
Yeah. Suicide Squad. Wait, what? No, what? And the only thing I'm interested in is Doctor Strange horror, like Lovecraftian horror. And I was like out when they got rid of the director, but then they might be bringing in Sam Raimi, and so I'm like, okay, that could be amazing. But
yes,
I'm over it. I'm done. Yeah. So before we move on to the big dog, the big most entertaining bad film this year, I'm just gonna rattle off the 4 or 5 other films that I've seen this year and just give them a couple of sentences. Shazam, DC movie, Zachary Levi, very funny, very, very funny, good film. It's very much like the original Superman in that it's straightforward and good-natured and very enjoyable. Godzilla, much better than the first one in that Godzilla's in the film. It has 5 monsters in it that all fight each other and all fun. But apart from that...
I haven't seen Godzilla. Yeah, so please don't spoil it.
That's fine. Too much humans still, but a lot of Ken Watanabe, so I forgive them.
Okay.
Detective Pikachu. People,
oh God.
If you don't like Pokemon, you won't like this film. But if you like Pokemon, it's a good enough fan film. The most interesting parts of it are, hey, isn't that interesting how these Pokemon you like would look and act in real life based on what their abilities are, and that's like the funnest thing to see. Like, cool, okay, cool. I liked it. I hope they make a sequel. It was interesting, at least. And Ryan Reynolds and this kid, Justice Smith or something, had some decent chemistry. So it was fine.
All right.
What else? John Wick 3, action movie, fun. That's it.
I've heard they just get more and more graphic as they go through that.
Yes.
Those films.
Enjoyable trilogy.
Okay.
It's not like The Raid, but it'll do. And okay, let's talk about Aladdin for just a tiny bit and talk about the Disney films just a tiny bit. I hate these films. They are so soulless, cash grab, awful nonsense that actively ruin their own legacy.
Yes.
I understand the idea is to bring more fleshed out visuals for a younger audience who've never seen these films before. But that isn't right, because the animation...
There are a few films they could add to.
Yes.
I think that the Mulan film will be good. I'm gonna stake my claim in this, because it could also be awful.
I'm leaning for the awful camp.
I think it's going to be like a lot better than at least the other ones. I think
it's going to be more different and interesting to watch. I agree with you there.
I think because they're going for almost a different angle entirely. They'll have some of the same shots and stuff.
They're taking the songs out and they're making it more of a...
Yes. if you just do a fucking direct remake, if we could talk about Lion King first.
Yeah, sure.
And you make it
disgustingly realistic.
Yeah, I'm not going to sympathise with I said this before any trailer, before even just when they just greenlit the film. I was like, I'm not going to sympathise when a fucking kid lion looks at his like dead fucking scary ass dad.
Yes,
I'm not going to have any emotion. And then I was surprised. That's exactly what happened. I know it feels like a very "I told you so" moment to the world, but
people defended this film and Aladdin.
Really?
They really went to bat for it because they loved it. But I'm like, look, the cartoons were designed to have these human faces and this human emotion and this timeless artistic brilliant animation that made it the classic Disney films that they are. And yet when you translate it to realistic looking animals, it really it looks uncanny, horrible and weird. And similarly for also, what's going to happen. There's nothing new added, and it's just like, okay, you're doing this just so you can make money, which it did. It made $1.6 billion.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Lion King made 1.6, and I think Aladdin made 1.2 billion.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I know. It's sickening.
I also don't really. I mean, I can understand. I guess Aladdin's quite popular, but I never really liked Aladdin. Even the original.
I liked Aladdin.
I could see why Lion King won Oscars, right? And I could see why they went for it. But if they're going to do this for every fucking film, they are going to get some scathing reviews in the future, more so than they did for these two films.
I think so as well.
But not Mulan, because I'm going to stake my claim that it won't be bad.
Can't have the nut gaze, can't have gay panic in Mulan. China doesn't want it.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I'm intrigued to see how they deal with. A load of people are on the fucking trailer. I watched the trailer the other day and I saw some comments on Twitter that was like, "Oh, there's no fucking dragon." It's like, who fucking gives a shit? It's Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I know.
He's just doing Donkey before Donkey happened, and
hey Mulan, what you doing, man?
Yeah.
Hey man.
They've gone in. They're going to go in this kind of maybe cool direction where the best part about Mulan, and it's actually one of my favorite Disney films, if not my favorite Disney film, is the princess isn't a fucking princess. That's like, her thing isn't I need a man.
Yes.
It's fucking and they don't even deal with it much in the original, but where she kind of knows she's going to sacrifice her own life for her father. And from what I've seen with the trailer, they're really going to lean into that. I think they're going to have a lot of that part at the start of the film where her father is going to go, and then she, because in the film they just kind of do the song Reflection, and she just kind of cries in front of a mirror.
Sure.
But I think you can't then have this kind of core emotional, emotional core of the film, and then just have let's CGI this dragon in, but have it as a realistic dragon like Lion King did. Then maybe not cast Eddie Murphy, even though he's still alive, because they could have just done that with the Lion King actors. Yeah. I don't know why they went for different ones. Let's get Beyonce. Beyonce's hot. So they'll just get, we can't do a white guy because it was a black guy that did the dragon first. So we'll just get, I don't know, fucking Chris Tucker. Is Chris Tucker still around? We'll do him instead. It just won't work. So anyone that's crying out for the dragon can just honestly go fuck themselves. I think I went off a tangent there, didn't I?
That's fine. No, I do agree. I agree it could be interesting, and the actual story of Mulan is very interesting itself. And I'd like to see more of it.
I do.
We'll see. I get the feeling it's going to be butchered by the appeasing to China, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just have to wait to see. And you're probably more likely to be right. I do have a question about Aladdin, though.
Yes.
Because I haven't seen it. How is one, Will Smith's performance, and two, Will Smith's CGI?
Well, he's no Robin Williams. Let's just say it that way.
Of course, he never was going to be.
Okay. So it's kind of the CGI is bafflingly poor in a lot of ways. It's passable in some scenes, but I think a lot of problems that these Disney films have had since, well, I mean, even The Jungle Book is that they're quite bright, colourful cartoons that they're trying to emulate, and yet a lot of the visuals are quite dark, even though they're saturated with a lot of colour. They don't work because they're dark sets without bright... so it just doesn't look as appealing. And that really looks uncanny with Will Smith as a blue genie. It's not bright and luminescent. He's just like... Yeah, it doesn't look great.
He looks like he's been painted blue, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Like red paint.
Yeah. The actors aren't the best, and they don't really come across very well in this. The songs are poor in a lot of ways. Like, Friend Like Me is... Will Smith tries to do what Robin Williams does, in that he just goes bonkers with impressions. And it doesn't work. It sounds much worse. But then you get Arabian Nights, where Will Smith does more of his own style in music, and it's much better, in my opinion, than the original, weirdly.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you know, like, they have... there's little tinges of, like, this could have been good in some ways. Will Smith has bits where he acts himself, and he has, like, a love interest with the princess's handmaiden or something. I know.
Okay.
But Will Smith is just much better when he's talking to Aladdin on his own as a mentor figure, because he's got more dialogue to be written and spoke there. So that's quite nice. Will Smith is all right there, but he also then goes back into, I have to do what Robin Williams did and do the impressions and things that he did, which he can't do because he's not Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And they try to make it like more political, like Jasmine is a tough woman who doesn't need a man to rule the kingdom. You know, but it's Aladdin. You know.
A lot of these films that they're going to do.
I get it. You need powerful women characters, but
their plots were written by 50s men.
Yeah. If you're going to change it so that Jasmine doesn't need a man, take the love story out of it.
Yeah, and then it's just not Aladdin, and then you're just sticking the name on it.
Then it's just like an epic fantasy about Arabian military warfare. Yeah. I laughed a lot when Will Smith did the woo ha 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 ha. That's my review. Yeah, don't worry about watching it, mate.
I won't, and I don't think I'll watch Lion King either, personally.
I don't think I will either.
Was there any other film, like animated films, or
I don't think
Disney film? Okay.
There might have been that I missed out, but no, I think not. I think we should dive headfirst into one of the most hotly discussed films for probably about 2 weeks, and then it was completely forgotten.
Yeah.
And that is Star Wars, the last Rise of the Last Skywalker. Rise of the Jedi? Was it Rise of the Jedi?
It was...
it was Rise of Skywalker.
It was Rise of the I'm Rey who? Rey Skywalker. So...
Oh... This
honestly,
one of
I
the
will
most
have
memeable
to say
films.
This, and I'm not... It's not the worst film of the year because someone probably made some fucking shitty thing, but it is my least favourite film of the year.
Yes.
And that's not... I'm just not trying to put like a hyperbole on it. I hated this.
Yeah.
So,
I laughed so much during this film when other people in the cinema were trying to take it seriously and gasping.
Yeah,
I was laughing out loud.
Yeah, there were maybe 4 or 5 scenarios where it just seemed baffling to me that a team of writers, although they were the guys that did like Fast and Furious or something, which makes more sense now, wrote some of these lines of dialogue. They were just so bad.
So bad. God, where do we even start? Like, I think they completely, the absolute vitriolic hatred for The Last Jedi is so palpable in this entire film.
Yeah. And it didn't have to be. I mean, it didn't have to be a rewrite of a film that was controversial or liked by 50% of the audience. If it's somebody's liked by 50, even if it's only 40% of people like Last Jedi, you can do your own thing and not have to scrap. You can add upon it and acknowledge Last Jedi happened, even if you don't want to follow on from what kind of Last Jedi did, which is annoying because for me personally, Last Jedi
is the most interesting film.
It's of the new three, it's the better one.
Yes,
the new 5, it's the best one, in my opinion. And
Force Awakens has only got worse in the last 2 films. It's only got worse from it.
And this Last Jedi kind of, it's almost become a kind of, these are the 2 types of blockbusters you can go for, which is, a lot of clever things happening underneath a film and just absolute garbage writing.
Yes.
And it's very funny that almost 2 different types of people are defending it.
Yes.
I don't want to stand with one group of people, but I don't understand how. If you want to just hate Last Jedi, but I don't understand how you could actively like this.
No, this film is objectively poor.
Yes. I would say that the first 45 seconds of the film, when Kylo Ren is angry and sexy and beating the shit out of people, I was like, yes, I'm ready for wherever this takes me. Mm-hmm. And then it took me right to the Emperor immediately. And from that point on, I fucking hated it. I can't believe how quick I hated the film. I mean, it would normally be like an hour. Even the choice to have the Emperor that early. Like, it was both trailers, because I love Star Wars.
So funny.
But, like, is he alive? Oh, no, he's alive. Yeah. Oh, we're going to show you 45 seconds into the film. Okay.
Oh, God.
Just that took a mystery out of it. And then he was not in the film for quite a long time. Like, why have it in the film?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have Palpy back, like, lean into him.
And I don't really think, maybe in years to come, we'll laugh at a couple of his lines because it's Palpatine, and obviously a load of his lines in the prequels are really stupid, but they are so quotable now.
Yes.
And maybe this will become like that. But because it's not like a trilogy of trash.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you had good characters and you kind of ruined them. It's actually more annoying than any of the prequel films. The prequels are a thing of their own. They've become memes. They're fantastic memes.
Yes.
But also, they are bad films, but they are collectively a thing. Whereas this was just like tanking.
I know.
A good opener, a solid world builder opener, a very diversive, but for me, fantastic middle film, much like Empire Strikes Back was in the back in its heyday.
It took the universe in a different direction.
Yeah,
and it was entertaining and unexpected.
Then this happened.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like 2 films that were rushed and smushed together. Everything felt rushed.
It could have been a lot better. Still awful, but a lot better if it paced it. Because I remember thinking, slow the fuck down. Yeah. It's not even with high-paced films. Let's say high-octane, high-paced film. Let's just say one of the greatest films of all time, Mad Max. I know you like Mad Max.
Yep.
I know you'd want to talk about it all the time. Yes. There is 2 or 3 parts of Mad Max where it just lets the film to breathe. Because any film, even as fucking awesome and high-octane as Mad Max, you need to let the film breathe.
Of course, you can't have tension all the time.
It didn't have... I mean, like, we'll go on to a film later that does have tension all the time. Like Uncut Gems, which we'll talk about later, but that's almost like it's.
But that's the point of the film.
Yes, yeah. This
was we need to get through three movies worth of plot points. We should have stuck through the last 2 films.
It was almost like they were stuck to their guns of having to be a trilogy.
Yes.
Like, we can't do 4 films. That would be manic.
Yes.
I'm trying to list in my head the 3 or 4 things that I hated the most, but honestly, I haven't talked about it for a while, and which has caused me joy because I haven't talked about it. Definitely, any scene with Palpatine just was fucking stupid.
See, they were so bad that they were my favourite scenes, because of how over the top nonsense I wish it was more over the top, but at least I got my fill of okay, this is what I expected.
I'll just maybe try and rattle through the things.
Who the fuck is Zoe Bliss?
Yeah,
she's like, I hate you. By the way, I like you. Here's this thing a plot device to get onto the ship. Here you go, mate. Bye.
Yeah. Do you want Lando in the film that much? Oh, probably, but we're going to have this character.
I forgot he was in the film.
Yeah.
That's his daughter in the film, by the way.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. So the first bit I laughed at, where I was like, oh, that's kind of stupid. Because obviously, when you watch these really stupid parts in films, if they are all just stupid, then your laughter at them becomes exponential, and by the end, you just laugh your head off. So the first one was when Palpatine just came into the film, 45 seconds. And I kind of went, oh, what? And then he was like, I will kind of like God give birth to ships. And he just like got a ship out of the ground and then added it to the 7,000th fleet strong he had. And then it just
I wish you went through the ships, like the actual view, and it was like skeletons like doing it. I would have loved that. That would have been, but they didn't. It's just ships, which can kill planets.
Yeah.
What's the point of the Death Star anymore?
There's a thing that J.J. Abrams seems to do in his kind of franchises, which is go way too big too early.
Yes.
And in Star Trek 1, the 2009 one, and in Force Awakens, they do the same thing in blowing up a planet, and it's very hard to go beyond that unless you do something that kills more than a planet, which by that point there's no fucking point. A planet's a planet, for fuck's sake. Yes. Or just have more things that can kill planets, which is where he went. Entirely where he went.
I know.
He just went with ship. We've got loads of guns.
Hey, why not put a Death Star on a ship? Oh wow, great idea.
I laughed very, very hard at
the fake Chewbacca death. I laughed my head off at that.
Yeah, when the ship blew up.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's obviously not dead. Like,
yeah,
come on.
That was mental.
And they were like, hey, he went off in that ship over there?
Yeah. Oh my god. I did think that one, the few scenes and between Rey and Kylo where they were just kind of like, when they were both pulling down at a ship, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yes.
And when they added a new thing to the Force where like they could interact with each other.
Oh yeah.
Well, the thing as well, but they can interact with each other and kind of
permeate
affect each other's world around them. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool.
That's fantastic. Them two together is the only things that have worked in these films.
Yeah. And I would say that wasn't a result of this film at all, and entirely a result of the last film.
Johnson. That's Rian Johnson.
Yeah. So she's
now Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Christ! She can just bury fucking lightsabers, and she's got a gold lightsaber. I don't fucking care.
Did she?
Yeah. At the end, it was gold or yellow or
Did
some
she?
shit, wasn't it?
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Just like had her own lightsaber.
Oh
she
god,
buried...
that's stupid. Like when Samuel L. Jackson said, "I want my lightsaber to be purple because it's cool." It's like, okay.
The bit where he shot lightning in the sky, that was when I first probably laughed.
I laughed so hard at that. I laughed when she pulled out a second lightsaber and it made her stronger for some reason.
Yeah. I think...
No. Here's the bit that I hated the most. Is that dagger that they went into this like weird underground quicksand and healed a big snake? They found this dagger, which is meant to be like a waypoint. And then they go to the planet where the Death Star is that fell from Episode 6. Mm-hmm. And then she lined it up with the wreckage of the ship and pulled out a thing. And that pointed to where... And I'm like, but that's such nonsense. Like, what if the ship rotted in a different way? How did they craft the knife to be at a specific point that they're looking at the ship for? And even then, it's not very precise as to where you're pointing at where to go. There's a whole massive ship to explore.
I didn't even think about that. That's fucking awful.
It's awful. It's so bad.
And then they
use a lot of like the Force. Oh, it's the Force. That's why I need to go over there because it's the Force. It's like that's such a lazy plot writing.
Yeah, she just went way too early when she could have waited that storm. And then, I think at that point, other than her knowing that the stakes were high and she had to go immediately, there was actually no reason to go immediately. The introduction of the new black character, whatever her name was, she seemed nice.
Great.
Just wait the storm out. And then go. Then I laughed a lot at the bit.
With the baby Snokes, the Snokes in the fucking tubes.
Yep. That was actually more annoying because I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I know.
I've had a big discussion with my brother about this, where he was just like, I need to know. When we went into the film, he was just like, I want to know where Snoke came from. And I was like, no, because one, it would be shit.
Yes.
Two, why do you need to know that? Just we didn't know what the fucking Emperor was before the prequels. Like,
you don't need to explain everything. Sometimes mystery is better. And
then afterwards, when we got to see what it was, he did agree and was like, yeah, you were right. Snokes and oh my Christ. You think about it as a plot, like him still being alive but confined to a place because of a storm, sends out to then be the bad guy for a little bit, but then while he's doing that, slowly builds up his own empire because that's clones surely doomed to fail, and then have Snoke try and get Rey to join her because she's so powerful, but then when that fails because she's good or Kylo Ren is good, try and do the exact same thing to her. I
didn't even think about that. That's really funny.
Stupid. It's so stupid. And then it all off, because there's so many like bad writing things where you just go, bad writing things, but just really stupid tropes where you're just like, that deserves to be in like a really shitty action movie, not Star Wars. Where when it got to the last one, which is almost criminal, which is where, we need her to say her surname. Let's just get a woman out of nowhere to ask her.
Hey, she did not need to be at Aunt Peru and like Uncle Owen's place, and then hey, who are you?
Hell. Who are you?
Wonderful.
Right. So imagine that from her point of view. Like, who are you? She paused for a long time.
Yeah.
And also,
are you okay?
Not everyone's surname in the universe. How many Star Wars characters have one fucking name? I'm Rey. Rey who? What fucking stupid question in a fucking Star Wars universe.
Yeah. I hate that they went back on a lot of her backstory as well. Like, I liked that she was no one.
Yes, it was anti-Star Wars. The whole of Last Jedi is so anti-Star Wars that it's good.
And it's like, great, anyone could be special. Oh wait, no, you can't, because no, you can't.
Yeah, it has to be incestuous, and there are other things happening in this universe. It's not just about this fucking fight. Good versus bad is kind of up to your interpretation.
Yes.
Because that fucking character that was dealing to both sides, he was like, I don't care.
Yes.
Good. The kind of the saying, it's basically about how like the victors write the story. Do you know the saying?
Whoever wins the war writes history.
Yes, exactly. That's the kind of point that he was making. I was like, that's a fucking interesting take.
Yes.
And then J.J. Abrams almost just like, nah, we have to have like a good versus bad. Yeah.
Yeah. It has to be traditional.
Oh, Christ.
I mean,
it's annoyed me because I want to watch this trilogy again, and it's very annoying knowing I can't really. It's not diminished Last Jedi for me, which is thankfully it's not. I can watch Last Jedi and I can still enjoy it.
Yes, it makes it even better though. Like for me, because it's like so. Yeah. They seem to write against Last Jedi more than they did against the prequels, which made me laugh.
Yes, they kind of welcome the prequels in.
Yes,
like opening arms. I don't know if it's as bad as Solo. Actually, I hated
Solo.
It
was awful.
I just thought Solo was boring, and then had one stupid bit that was really funny at the end.
Yeah, Darth
whereas
Maul.
this was just bad. Yeah. I'm gonna turn my lightsaber on just so you know I'm Darth Maul. Yeah. In fact, this is hurting my head just speaking about it. Can we move on?
Okay, I will just quickly make a couple of points. Adam Driver might as well be called Adam Atlas because he carries this fucking series. He's so good. He's so wasted on the series.
Yeah.
2, I liked that they brought back Duel of the Fates in the fight against Palpatine.
Yep.
3, Carrie Fisher. We haven't talked about Carrie Fisher.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Luke Skywalker, they just did a 180 on his character for no reason. Carrie Fisher, they reused footage because obviously she died. That was so out of place and weird, it made me laugh. Yeah. And then they put a fucking cloth over her face.
There were so many scenes that were clearly written.
Yes.
That's the thing I don't like about Last Jedi is they could have killed her off at this point, and then, I don't know, maybe because that wasn't originally in the plot.
No, it wasn't, apparently.
It would be unjust. But kill off there, it would have been lovely if you can remember the bit I'm talking about in Last Jedi.
Yes, and Mary Poppins.
Yeah, that was a bit stupid, I'll admit. This had so many fucking bits of dialogue where it was working around
her previously recorded footage.
Yeah, so it was like, do this. Okay, blah, 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 blah. And what should we do with that? The stars.
The Force will guide you.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, it was really funny.
Like a minute-long speech to her, and that just, that takes you out as well. And then she kind of fainted in for a fucking sheet or some shit.
Oh, yeah, so she passes out, and so because obviously she's dead, they just put a fucking sheet over her face, which made me laugh, and they're all like, oh, poor that really made me laugh. But to be fair, I really liked the bit that she used her last of her energy to sort of convert Kylo Ren to, like, the good side. Yeah. I like that. Yes. That was nice. I like that him and Rey fought together at the end.
And I guess, it's like, why then did you make her good? Why make him good?
Yes.
Like, there were many opportunities. I guess the Force, and it then. Yeah. Fuck it, I don't give a shit.
There's no point teasing Rey becoming bad when she clearly was never going to become bad.
No.
Also, Finn and Poe, like, why bother even have these characters in the series if you had no plan for them? They did fuck all throughout this entire thing.
I think Rian Johnson struggled with them slightly as well, like the whole casino thing.
That was awful.
Kind of could almost have killed Finn right at the end of Last Jedi. Probably would have been better.
Should have.
And almost like
can't kill a black actor. The only black actor in fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, Rose just out of nowhere saved it. That was stupid, but probably would have been better. The characters had. It just showed how smaller and not as well written as the original Star Wars characters are, because anytime even Leia's corpse was on screen, or Han Solo was on screen,
he was
anything, you were just captivated because
it's that character I like.
That's the character, and especially with Poe and Finn, they became tiresome after 1.25 movies.
Mm-hmm.
They were fantastic in Force Awakens.
I do give them that. I really wanted them to become great, but they were mishandled.
Yeah. They just also didn't end the film with those three. They really just chucked them under the bus.
Yeah, they did.
They hugged, and then they had that stupid surname scene. I don't.
Mm-hmm. It's the Rey and Kylo Ren film.
Yes, don't kill Kylo Ren off either, because he was the best
character.
I did like one of the best part of the film for sure was the bit where he did get the lightsaber and then did that kind of little shrug, and I was like, that's got so much style, and that will become like a thing. And it did for a bit on Twitter. I saw loads of people copying the kind of putting the lightsaber behind your back and then doing a shrug to his enemies. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's very cool.
Yeah, I liked it. Well, that's the thing is, I got to laugh at Palpatine being over the top evil and having a fucking cult which got killed by his own lightning again. Like, come on, that's the second time you've done that, you idiot. Don't watch. Do watch The Last Jedi, because it is not Last Jedi. Fucking do watch The Rise of Skywalker, because it's so funny.
Also, the worst part about it is Star Wars films are notorious because there's so many of them.
There's more bad than they're good now.
Yes, but also they're numbered, which is fine. But you could also refer to them as their acronyms, and they use the same fucking initialisms as the episode 3, which is Rise of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith,
Revenge of
whatever
the
it is.
Sith. Oh shit!
And this is how, and it's just like caused a little. It's not. It's a small gripe, but also just come on, guys, from the off.
You.
Just
Rise of
Either way.
Skywalker's pants.